Guys, come back to my channel. I am need review Asus uh, X X441U uh, and really and Core i3 and memory 4 gigabytes HDD. Looking okay, national and keyboard Ismail keyboard. You looking Ismail keyboard and okay now Core i3 and a speaker, two speaker. Okay, speaker and Sonic Master speaker. Sponsor Sonic Master. Belum rekam soalnya.
Beranak ya?
Apa?
Oh, rekam pula.
Iya. One WLAN and HDMI bin. Three HDMI Smile, 3 port, 2 port USB. Okay. CD. No port USB. Now I see spec. Okay. Okay. I open spec.
Asus Vivobook S15 puts a big 15.6-inch screen in an ultra-portable body starting at a reasonable price. It has a spacious backlit keyboard, a responsive precision touchpad with a built-in fingerprint reader and nice-sounding stereo speakers. It's available with discrete graphics and dual storage drives aside from the big screen in a slim, lightweight body at a reasonably priced thing though. The S15 is a somewhat unremarkable mainstream laptop. The full HD display, for example, has good color and contrast for entertainment and office work, but not good enough for anything that demands precision. Its matte finish helps with reflections, but it doesn't get bright enough to use comfortably outdoors. Basically, it's fine for what you're paying, neither exceptional nor disappointing. That sentiment carries over to the keyboard and touchpad, too. It's a spacious keyboard with 3 levels of backlighting and it should be a comfortable typing experience for most. However, I hit the keys somewhat hard when typing, so the response felt too flat for my comfort. Plus, there's a lot of flex in the keyboard deck, which gives the notebook a less than sturdy feel. The precision touchpad is smooth and responsive, and while there was some cursor movement from dragging my pawn, adjusting the sensitivity helped. It responded quickly and correctly to multi-touch gestures for everything from scrolling and zooming to switching apps and launching Cortana for search. There's fingerprint reader in the upper right corner as well to sign in using Windows Hello. For those times when you want to use an external keyboard and mouse, there are two USB 2.0 ports on the left side joined by an SD card slot. The right side has a full-size HDMI for an external display in addition to a USB 3.1 port, a USB 3.1 Type-C General 1 port and a headphone mic jack. There is no support for Thunderbolt 3 on the Type-C port, however. Asus Vivobook MAX X541SA is a low-cost 15.6-in laptop. It's here for people who want to spend as little as possible while still getting something that looks and feels like a proper laptop. At $299, it's a small fraction of the cost of the sort of computers you might see advertised on TV and in cinema ads. There's a catalog of little ways you feel the pinch of the budget cuts, but the one you should consider above all others is performance. Thanks to its Intel Pentium CPU and hard drive, it feels significantly slower than the HP 250 from arm's length. You could believe the Asus Vivobook MAX X541SA is metal. The lid and keyboard surround look like brushed aluminium, and the lid has a silver-blue gradient that looks like the kind of thing you might see on an advert selling some sort of ice-cold drink. No prizes for guessing this, but the X541SA is actually all plastic. Like most cheap laptops, the underside is black too, rather than matching the finish of the rest. Similarly, the lid flexes under finger pressure. You have to accept a few build compromises like this if your budget only stretches to $300. A perhaps more important area is the keyboard. If the keyboard surround flexes too much, it can affect typing feel and is a constant reminder your laptop isn't that well built. There is some slight flexing to the Asus Vivobook MAX X541SA keyboard, but not under the pressure of normal typing. The construction is fine, just not fancy. One crucial aspect to take on board is the Asus Vivobook MAX X541SA is a laptop for home or work use, not one perfect for taking cross-country on your travels. It weighs 2 kilograms and is 27 millimeters thick, which we'd consider too chunky to carry around day long. Any 15.6-inch laptop outside of something like a Dell XPS 15, which has an unusually small footprint, is going to be a rucksack hog or two. Like almost every laptop this affordable, the Asus Vivobook MAX X541SA uses a TN screen rather than the IPS kind more popular these days. TN panels tend to have fast response times, but almost universally look worse than the IPS type because of their relatively narrow viewing angles. This doesn't just affect looking at the screen from an extreme angle, as the character of the display alters from just a few degrees of tilt. Looking at the laptop dead on, the contrast will actually appear different at the bottom of the screen than the top. This is only instantly obvious when you're looking at a pure black/color screen, but is why, to image quality purists at least, most TN displays never look that good. TN monitors tend to fare better than laptop screens, and this particular one isn't great. It's 15.6 inches across, giving you plenty of space with which to work, but as resolution is relatively low at 1366 x 768, there aren't enough pixels to make cramming in loads of windows a good idea. Cementing its position as a home laptop rather than one to use outdoors, max brightness is unremarkable at 210 CD/M2 and a glossy screen finish makes reflections an issue if you're not careful about how the laptop is angled. Color performance is limited too, although that's no surprise given the use of the twisted pneumatic panel. The Asus Vivobook MAX X541SA covers 59% of the sRGB color standard, 41% of Adobe RGB and 42.2% of DCI-P3. While not a bad result for this type of panel, it's not great for editing photos. In person, though, color is one of the screen's stronger suits. It's perfectly good for general use, even if the punch of its tones is reduced by the fairly poor 344:1 contrast. The X541SA has a typical low-cost laptop screen. It's flawed in many respects, but is the norm at the price. One other big sub-300 laptop sacrifices performance. The X541SA uses an Intel Pentium N3710 CPU rather than the Core i series processors we'd recommend to anyone using Windows 10 every day. For a little more context, all Core i series can be considered premium chipsets, even the Core i3. Intel's Pentium, Celeron and Atom models are used in lower-cost machines. For a laptop like the Vivobook MAX, the Pentium range is the best of the three. It uses more energy than an Atom, but tends to offer more power than either an Atom or Celeron chipset. The Pentium N3710 is a quad-core CPU with a clock speed of 16 GHz and a 256 GHz burst mode. It offers acceptable performance with Windows 10, but we wouldn't say much more than that. Apps take a little while to load, and the system feels less responsive than a laptop with a Core i3. It's an important distinction as models like the HP 250 G5 offer Core i3 power for $350. That's more money, of course, but if you use your laptop several hours a day, we'd argue the performance boost is worth paying for. Core i processors run Windows 10 as Microsoft intended, where Pentiums feel compromised. Doing much more than browsing, writing docs and so on makes the X541SA feel distinctly slow. And even the basics of Windows run slower than they would in a slightly more expensive machine. It's time to consider how patient you really are. However, it doesn't make Windows 10 feel like a flat-out chore, unlike some Atom-based laptops. Aside from the CPU, the X541SA has 4GB DDR3 RAM and a 1TB hard drive. There's plenty of storage, but this is a slow 5400 RPM drive, which will contribute to the slightly slow Windows 10 feel. The Pentium N3710 also has a much worse GPU than the Core i3 family. It's the Intel HD 405, making all but the most basic of gaming inadvisable. As the laptop has a 1366x768 pixel screen, we couldn't try our usual 1080p gaming tests, but even at 720p the results are terrible. With settings minimized, Thief runs at 59 FPS and Alien Isolation at 825 FPS. Neither is remotely playable, and those games slow down to 25 FPS. Thief and